that leads sharply to the right, out of Helford village, and takes his tea with his fellow trippers in the stone kitchen of the old farm building that once was Navron House. There is something of grandeur about it even now. Part of the original quadrangle still stands, enclosing the farmyard of today, and the two pillars that once formed the entrance to the house, now overgrown with ivy and encrusted with lichen, serve as props to the modern barn and its corrugated roof. The farm kitchen where the tripper takes his tea was part of Navron dining hall, and the little half stair, now terminating in a bricked-up wall, was the stair leading to the gallery. The rest of the house must have crumbled away, or been demolished, for the square farm building, though handsome enough, bears little likeness to the Navron of the old prince, shaped like the letter E, and of the formal garden and the park, has no trace today. The tripper eats his split and drinks his tea, smiling upon the landscape, knowing nothing of the woman who stood there once, long ago, in another summer, who caught the gleam of the river amidst the trees, as he does, and who lifted her head to the sky and felt the sun. He hears the homely farmyard noises, the clanking of pails, the lowing of cattle, the rough voices of the farmer and his son as they call to each other across the yard, but his ears are deaf to the echoes of that other time, when someone whistled softly from the dark belt of trees, his hands cupped to his mouth, and was swiftly answered by the thin, stooping figure crouching beneath the walls of the silent house, while above them the casement opened, and Dona watched and listened, her hands playing a little nameless melody upon the sill, her ringlets falling forward over her face. The river flows on. The trees rustle in the summer wind, and down on the mudflats the oyster-catchers stand at ebb tide, scanning the shallows for food, and the curlews cry. But the men and women of that other time are forgotten, their headstones encrusted with lichen and moss, their names indecipherable. Today, the cattle stamp and churn the earth over the vanished porch of Navron House, where once a man stood as the clock struck midnight, his face smiling in the dim candlelight, his drawn sword in his hand. In spring, the farmers' children gather primroses and snowdrops in the banks above the creek, their muddy boots snapping the dead twigs and the fallen leaves of a spent summer, and the creek itself, swollen with the rains of a long winter, looks desolate and grey. The trees still crowd thick and darkly to the water's edge, and the moss is succulent and green upon the little quay where Dona built her fire and looked across the flames and laughed at her lover. But today, no ship lies at anchor in the pool, with rakish masts pointing to the skies. There is no rattle of chain through the hawse hole, no rich tobacco smell upon the air, no echo of voices coming across the water in a lilting foreign tongue. The solitary yachtsman who leaves his yacht in the open roadstead of Helford and goes exploring upriver in his dinghy on a night in midsummer when the night-jars call, hesitates when he comes upon the mouth of the creek, for there is something of mystery about it even now, something of enchantment. Being a stranger, the yachtsman looks back over his shoulder to the safe yacht in the roadstead, and to the broad waters of the river, and he pauses, resting on his paddles, aware suddenly of the deep silence of the creek, of its narrow, twisting channel, and he feels, for no reason known to him, that he is an interloper, a trespasser in time. He ventures a little way along the left bank of the creek, the sound of the blades upon the water seeming overloud and echoing oddly among the trees on the farther bank. And as he creeps forward, the creek narrows. The trees crowd yet more thickly to the water's edge, and he feels a spell upon him, fascinating, strange.